The state budget plan has been set to rise 6.5% to nearly $225 billion. Melamine has been found in 2 more snack products imported from China. Greenbelt restrictions on more than 300 square kilometers of land will be lifted by 2020. Hello and welcome to KBS World News Today. It's Wednesday, the 1st of October. Next year's state budget is to rise 6.5% to nearly $225 billion. The budget plan has been set based on the goals of creating more jobs and securing new growth engines. But the government has frozen employment and wages in the public sector.
Next year's budget will reach nearly $225 billion, up 6.5% from this year. The ordinary annual budget based on tax revenues will jump 7.2% to more than $165 billion. The money will mainly go to creating jobs and fostering new growth engines. As part of these efforts, the research and development budget will rise more than 10%. Investment in social overhead capital will increase nearly 8%. Budgets for health and welfare will grow 9%, while those for education and defense will see little increase. The rise in state spending is expected to raise the government deficit to $8.2 billion next year. Therefore, state bonds worth some $6 billion will be issued next year. A wage freeze will also be implemented in the public sector. The tax burden is expected to fall from 22% this year to 20% by 2012. The government says growth of 7% will be possible by that time with no problems in financial soundness. But critics say the growth outlook is too rosy since the global economic crisis could get protracted. They also warn of the danger of a rising budget deficit.
President Lee Myung-bak has returned from a 4-day visit to Russia. His aides say the president's diplomatic strategy has resulted in major progress.
President Lee visited St. Petersburg on his final day in Russia. He said in a speech that the divided Korean peninsula not only deters peace and security in Northeast Asia, but is turning into a world issue. President Lee also urged the building of the railways connecting the peninsula and Siberia to overcome such obstacles and open a Eurasian era. St. Petersburg University gave President Lee an honorary doctorate for his contributions to improving relations between Korea and Russia.
러시아를 이끌고 있는 여러 분야의 지도자들과 동문이 된 것을 또한 기쁘게 생각을 합니다.
President Lee visited a cemetery and paid his respects to former Korean diplomat Lee Bum-jin, who died in Russia in 1910 while protesting Japanese occupation of Korean peninsula. President Lee also visited Khrunichev Space Center, which is working with the Korea Aerospace Research Institute on developing projectile for small satellites. He also urged more cooperation between the two countries.
한국과 러시아 양국이 관계가 깊은 관계를 이렇게 우호적 관계를 발전하기 때문에 이 우주 산업에 있어서 우호적으로서 협력할 수 있게 기대하고 있습니다.
The president returned home Wednesday morning and has now visited all 4 powers surrounding the Korean peninsula. His aides cite substantial progress made in energy and resources through President Lee's visit to Russia.
Melamine has been found in 2 more snack products imported from China. Both products had passed initial safety tests and were distributed in the Korean market. This has led to growing consumer concern over food safety.
The Korea Food and Drug Administration says 23 parts per million of melamine has been found in cheese crackers imported by Dongseol. The crackers were produced by a Chinese factory of the U.S. multinational food giant Nabisco. The harmful substance has been found in products whose shelf period will expire in March. More than 90% of the 22 tons imported have been distributed in Korea. 1.7 parts per million of the chemical was found in a rice cookie brand. The food watchdog had approved the products as safe 4 days earlier. The public has expressed shock over the discovery of a harmful chemical in a food product made by a multinational. The Food Administration says the approved products were manufactured on a different day from the ones in question.
A라는 제품이 적합하다고 해서 그게 클리어가 되는 건 아니고요. 고게 두세 개가 있을 때 세 개가 다 적합해야 클리어가 되니까 그 목록이 좀 달라서 그렇습니다.
Consumer fears over food safety are growing in the wake of the discovery of more melamine-tainted food.
Greenbelt restrictions on more than 300 square kilometers of land, equal to about half the size of Seoul, will be lifted by 2020. The land will be used as residential districts for lower-income households and industrial complexes. But controversy is rising over the cut in the required percentage of rental house construction.
The government has announced plans to free up more than 300 square kilometers from Greenbelt designations. The area is about half the size of Seoul. The government says the land will be the site of new houses for lower-income families and industrial complexes.
해제 대상 지역은 개발 제한 구역으로서 보전 가치가 낮은 환경 평가 결과 3등급 내지 5등급지 위주로 선정화돼
About 5,000 square kilometers of land had been designated as greenbelts in the 1970s. 27% of the greenbelt land has been released since 1999. Another additional 5.7% will be freed from restrictions under the government's new rule. The government has stressed several times that greenbelt land should be released to provide homes for lower-income families. But more of the newly exempt land will be allocated for industrial purposes. Only 80 square kilometers will be used for housing in the rest of the industrial complexes. Furthermore, nearly half the exempt land is located in the metropolitan area. The rate of rental house construction for lower-income families will fall to 30 or 40%. Part of the fertile farmland will also be freed from Greenbelt designation. This has invited protests from pro-environment groups.
우량농지인 환경등급 1, 2등급지가 해제될 수 있는 길을 열어줬기 때문에 그린벨트 보존의 최소한의 기준과 원칙이 무너졌다고.
More disputes are expected to arise as the government fails to consider public opinion in making its decision, unlike in 1999.
Experts say electronic passports are vulnerable to forgery and could promote the leak of personal information. The Foreign Ministry has denied major problems with the so-called e-passports, but the controversy over personal data security is raging on.
Korea introduced electronic passport in August. Personal data like name, ID number, and photo appears when an e-passport is put on a reader. This kind of reader is easily available. Many Koreans travel abroad, thus identity theft through e-passports is a major danger. Theoretically, forging an e-passport is also possible if stolen personal information is inserted into other electronic chips.
그거를 뭐 공백 여권을 통해서 할 수도 있고 아니면 여권에 있는 칩을 망가뜨리고 다른 RFID 칩을 어디다 은닉해서 그걸 사용할 수도 있고 그래서 이런 것들이 이론적으로 가능하기 때문에
But the Foreign Ministry has denied any problem, saying forged e-passports are automatically detected when their electronic chips are read.
그렇게 하면은요, 상대방 컴퓨터 다 걸립니다. 내 컴퓨터 시스템 제대로 구축이 되면.
But the ministry has no budget to build a system to prevent passport forgery. Questions linger over security, but the government will add fingerprints to the personal information stored in e-passports from 2010.
The Namsadang Festival has opened in Anseong, Gyeonggi Province. The city is the home of Namsadang, the first popular performance arts troupe in Korean history. Here's a look at what's going on at the scene.
The tightrope walker soars into the air and performs a breathtaking stunt. A tightrope walking performance known as Autumn grew more popular after being featured in 2006 blockbuster film The King and the Clown. The performance is the most popular among 6 that the Namsadang performs. The comical and sarcastic mask dance, Totbegi, also attracts a large audience.
옛날에 TV에서 몇 번 보긴 했는데 실제로 처음 봐요. 근데 너무 재밌어요. 흥미롭고.
A festival is held in the city or the hometown of the first Namsadang group to convey the authenticity of the show. The program includes Namsadang's 6 shows and dances and musical performances by traditional entertainers from 6 other countries as well. A marketplace set up like in the old days offers much to visitors.
줄 타는 사람이 줄 타는 거 여러분과 함께 어우러져서 재미있게 같이 즐길 수 있는 그런 축제가 됐으면 하는 바람입니다.
This festival will run through Sunday.
Right fielder Chu Shin-soo of the Cleveland Indians has been selected the American League Player of the Month for September. Chu is the second Korean to win Player of the Month honors in the U.S. Major League.
Chu Shin-soo has been recognized as one of the top hitters in the U.S. majors. He's been named American League Player of the Month for September. Pitcher Park Chan-ho earned the same honor in the National League in July 1998. Chu hit .400 with 5 homers, 5 doubles, and 24 runs batted in last month. The Busan native recorded an on-base percentage of higher than 1,000. The statistic suggests a hitter's power. A player with an OPS of higher than 1,000 is considered in the top tier.
한국에서 뛰었던 선수들보다 더 열심히 할 것 같고 그냥 뭐 되게 존경스러워요. 지금 자랑스럽고.
Chu has set new standards for Koreans in the U.S. majors, surpassing Choi Hee-sup, who played for the Chicago Cubs and Florida Marlins. A highlight of Chu's season was his 2-home run game. Chu is now in his prime after having overcome difficulty in his U.S. career. He was a pitcher in high school, but switched positions after moving to the U.S. in 2001. He was called up to the U.S. majors in 2005 after 4 years in the minors.
조신희 선수가 들어옴으로 해서 이승엽이라든지 국내 김현수, 추신수, 우리나라 대표 역사상 최강의 좌타 라인이 구축이 될 거라고 믿습니다.
For the season, Chu finished with a batting average of .309 with 14 homers and 66 RBIs in 94 games.
The Horizon Festival has opened on the open fields of Kimje, a city in Western Korea. The event is offering a memorable experience to all visitors.
Some 70 colorful events are planned over the next 5 days around Pyeokgulje Plaza, the nation's oldest reservoir site. A host of hands-on events will offer visitors the experience of traditional agricultural practices. They include hay string and scarecrow making, grasshopper collecting, and cereal grinding. Other cultural events feature a myriad of cultural events, including an international food festival and Sangyungnuri, or the reenactment of the old Korean myth. The Rice Village Market simulates an old country market. There, people can enjoy traditional foods and a gala. The Horizon Festival is one of the Korea's best-known agricultural festivals. The event has been named the best cultural festival for tourists for 4 straight years. More than 1 million visitors attend last year's festival. This year, the festival will end Sunday.
When fall approaches, we often bring up the images of golden rice fields, ripe red persimmons, and plum chestnuts. Among them, chestnuts are a representative fall fruit. Take a look at everything about chestnuts. This is a chestnut farm in Gongju, South Chungcheong Province. Boughs are full of chestnuts. The nuts are easily found on the ground. People are gathering fallen chestnuts. A chestnut festival will open on October 2nd for a 4-day run.
일상생활에서 벗어나서 공기도 좋고 넓은 하늘과 이렇게 넓은 들에서 아이들과 밤을 캐니까 굉장히 유익한 시간이었습니다.
We have enough chestnuts. Now it's time to make chestnut starch for cooking. Pulverize unpeeled chestnuts and rub it in a cotton pouch. Leave it for 3 or 4 hours. Now we have chestnut starch. Mix some flour with the starch to make chestnut dishes from noodles to fries.
굉장히 맛있어요. 맛있고 굉장히 쫄깃쫄깃하고요. 탄력이 좋아서 묵 같은 경우에도 굉장히 입에서 감칠맛이 돌고요.
We often throw chestnut shells and peelings away. But chestnut's inner skin is good for human skin. We can use chestnut skin for making a bottle of toner. Pour traditional liquor soju to extract good ingredients from chestnut skin. And keep the mixture for 1 month. Mix distilled water with the extract before heating it up. Finally, add glycerin and vitamin E and stir it up. Now we have chestnut toner. There's another way to use chestnut skin for beauty. Mix powdered chestnut skin with distilled water and honey. Use the mixture as a cosmetic pack material. There are various ways to use chestnuts for foods. First, we can make a Chinese-style dish with chestnuts. Coat peeled chestnuts in flour and starch before frying them. Stir chopped onions and garlic in a pan first. And put ketchup, Chinese hot soybean sauce, and water starch. Boil fried chestnuts in the sauce. Chestnuts can be used to make a good match with rice. Coat chestnuts with rice powder and wrap them in seasoned beef. Cook them on the gentle heat and boil them in teriyaki sauce.
밤에는요, 비타민 C도 많이 들어있지만 그 지용성인 비타민도 굉장히 많이 들어있거든요. 그래서 육류나 기름기가 많은 그 요리를 할 때 같이 첨가해서 요리를 하시게 되면 영양 섭취 면에서도 아주 훌륭한 그 요리를 하실 수가 있습니다.
Enjoy the seasonal fruit in various ways and savor the flavor of fall. Here are today's economic indicators and the weather. That's it for this edition of KBS World News Today. Have a nice day and thank you for watching.